Hey everybody, so I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to make a fabric pumpkin. This project's going to be super easy even if you're not an experienced sewer. So what I did was I actually used my machine to straight stitch down the raw edges of both sides, leaving the top and the bottom open. And what I'm going to do is take some thick embroidery thread and do a simple basting stitch right across the top, about a ½ inch down, without tying a knot on the end of my thread. I'm just going to pretty much gather my fabric on and off of my needle. Until I can't fit any more on, and then I'll just kind of take some off, but I don't want to pull it off of my thread. So as you can see, I'm trying to keep the same width from the top all the way across. That way you don't get a weird gather or anything. If you can't get it all the way across the same, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I pulled it off a little bit just to give myself some room, but as you can see, I have my raw edge continuing all the way across the top. And then once you're done with that, you're going to basically pull the needle off of the string. And then what I learned from fighting with this fabric was that it is best to just turn your fabric inside out and pull the string through the center, and you can pretty much have all the raw edges facing the inside, so you have a nice uniformed gather on the outside. Yep, still fighting with it. This was my first fabric pumpkin that I've made, so it's a tutorial for me and you to kind of play around with. So here I finally figured out, pull it through the inside. I'm going to tie a couple knots in the thread. Okay, pretty uniformed on the outside, and then we're going to do the same thing on the top. So this time, instead of gathering it, we're going to stuff it. And what I'm going to do while I'm stuffing it is hold the thread in my hand so I don't pull it through the fabric. And you want to stuff it pretty good. I made a pretty large pumpkin. You don't have to make a large pumpkin at all. You can do a smaller one. You can use a shirt sleeve, you can use a old sweater. With those items that you can use to do it, you actually don't even have to do a machine stitch. And if you can't, or you don't have a machine, you can also do it by hand. So I finished off the top, finished stuffing it, and now I'm taking a really thick, heavy-duty needle that had a wide enough eye for me to pull my yarn through the center of it. I did not connect the ends of my yarn, and you'll see why here. I'm going to switch my needle from the one end to the opposite end once I get it through. Here I fought and fought. You want to not get it through the fabric. You want to push it directly through the center of the holes, not going, the yarn is too thick to go through the fabric. Okay, so I'm going to take my needle off, take one end and tie it to the other end, and this is where our pumpkin is going to start taking shape. You can tie it as tight as you want, you can tie it as loose as you want. If you don't want to do this step, you don't have to. You can skip straight to the end and just glue your leaf and your stem right to the top. So now I'm just switching my end of the yarn. You might have to play around with it a little bit just to get it through the opposite end, but once you get it on the end. That's pretty much the last time you're going to have to get it in the needle. So here I'm just going to continue to pull through the center around and around, but as I'm doing that, I'm going to hold the last piece that I pulled through tight so that I can get the next one. If you don't hold it tight, it doesn't keep the indentation on the pumpkin. So I'm just going to continue to go around and around, creating my different sections on the pumpkin. And you might, have to fight a little bit with the needle just to get it through. And you want to use a pretty long needle just because you don't want it to get lost in the center. So I'm going to do one more little piece and then I'm going to tie off my end. I've never really decorated for fall before. This is going to be my first year decorating for fall, and the reason for my DIY projects is because pumpkins are outrageous. I went to my local hobby store looking for pumpkins to, just to throw out. I have like Halloween pumpkins that I've had for years, and I only decorate for Halloween. But this year I really wanted to embrace, the fall season. I love this time of year, and I don't know why I've just never decorated for fall. I've always just been a Halloween decorator. So here I am. I'm just trying to keep it as cheap as possible. This was just scrap fabric that I had. I did go buy a bag of filler, but other than that, it was a pretty cheap project. So I went to my backyard. I found a nice little twig that I thought would look nice as the stem of my pumpkin. So I'm just going to glue that directly to the center. Now, instead of using regular leaves, I'm going to cut some burlap leaves. And I do have a leaf from the Dollar Tree that I'm going to use as pretty much like a pattern on my burlap. It doesn't have to be perfect, obviously. This is just a rough sketch. If you wanted to actually trace the leaf out, I don't see it really, being necessary. So there's my burlap leaves. Like I said, not perfect at all. I'm just going to glue those directly to my stem. And there is my finished pumpkin. Super cute, super easy. If you wanted to add some color, you could. I'm going to leave it directly like this. I like the shabby chic kind of look. Easy, cute. You can do it. Post your pictures or like and comment on this post. Enjoy. Thanks for watching.